Hey, Coach Kevin here again. Back with the whiteboard series for shoulder stability, which again is a 3-stage progression and is great for throwing sports and swimmers who have that constant rotation of their shoulders. With phase 2, we're focusing on youth athletes aged 10 to 13, as well as high school and adults who train inconsistently. And what I mean by that is someone who's not training year-round for their sport. Maybe they don't do 2-a-days, stuff like that. So their level of training is going to be at a much lower level than those who are going after like D1 scholarships or making it pro. Make sure you start on phase 1 first, see how that goes, and progress into phase 2. The links are below so you can watch all the videos in this series. So with the phase 2 shoulder stability series, this is ideal for most athletes aged 10 to 13, or high school and adult athletes that don't train super consistently. You know, it's one of those things where when you train consistently, you can push your body a little bit harder, but if you're taking times off, you know, maybe you take a month off or several months off in between seasons, or you don't consistently do your training throughout the season, you're gonna typically stay in phase 2. Starting out, you're gonna begin with the reverse flies, and this is more to activate and warm up the muscles. They're going to hold the band out in front of them, and then they're just going to take their arms and bring it to a T position, and then bring the band back in front. And then switching to the arm pull downs, you're going to bring that band behind the head, keeping those shoulders back the whole time. This actually stretches it out a little bit, opening up the fronts of those shoulders, making it a little bit easier to go through the movements with proper technique. Another thing I really like about the loop bands is that not only can you hold it in your fingers like this, but you could put it under your feet. You can easily loop it through almost any object that's secure, and you can easily set things up and do a whole variety of exercises. For this phase, they're going to do 20 external rotations on each arm. That tempo is going to take about 3 or 4 seconds for each rep, holding that elbow and shoulder perfectly still, going through that motion. And doing 20 reps, that's going to give them a lot of time under tension. And the last, 5 to 10 reps, they're going to feel those muscles activating, creating that movement. That just gives them better body awareness, understanding what muscles are creating what movements within their body. So holding the band with their fingertips, going across their body to the outside, and then they're going to rotate to the other side of their body. And again, even some of the more experienced athletes will occasionally start out here because they're just kind of forgetting what they're doing. And you have to remind them to switch hands while facing the same direction, making sure that they do that external rotation correctly. I prefer using some extra bands to go underneath the arm to help keep that elbow stable when they learn the technique. And at this point, they shouldn't take very long to then get rid of those bands and just start holding that shoulder and elbow in place just with that body awareness. For the most part, you're going to stay using the yellow bands throughout phase 1 and 2. And then when athletes get into phase 3 and they keep progressing with that phase, then they'll switch to pink bands for either some or all of the exercises. Then they're going to do 10 arm angels. This is something a lot of the experienced athletes start rushing through as they become familiar with the technique because they think they should move their arms quickly. But that's a totally different type of exercise when we're working on speed versus stability. So remind them to keep those movements slow and keep those movements in control. To do the arm angels, it's very similar to a snow angel, which is why I call it arm angels. The athletes need to make sure that their palms are facing forward and the backs of their hands are facing behind them, and they use their fingers to hold the band. They'll pull the bands to their side, slowly raise their hands up straight over their head, release it forward. Bring their hands back straight over their head, slowly bring it down to their side, and release it forward. With this movement, you want to take 3 to 5 seconds to go up, and then 3 to 5 seconds to come back down. If they can't get their arms straight over their shoulders, then they're going to want to take a little step forward and reduce that resistance. A lot of athletes will keep that resistance too high and then their hands come in front of them instead of going straight up to the top. So make sure that they adjust that resistance as needed, and they become familiar with adjusting that resistance for all the different exercises that they use the bands for. Combining hundreds of throws a week with strength or stability exercises using a hand grip can cause overtraining issues. Elite athlete kits come with ankle and wrist straps, allowing athletes to take stress off of the hand and wrists, just like other baseball-specific bands. This reduces the risk of injury when throwers are combining exercises with challenging practices. Next, they're going to do 20 internal A's. And make sure that their hands go a little bit wider than their body, and then they pull the band back while maintaining good posture and standing upright. They do hold onto the bands a little bit differently for this one. So the backs of their hands are facing forward and their thumbs are turned in, facing the sides of their body as they pull the band back. This is a really good one to help teach them to pack their shoulders by pulling it back and standing upright with good posture. Last, they're going to do 10 TYIs. This is one that changes a little bit from phase 1 to phase 2 as they're progressing through and getting better. Initially, when you start this, you want them to do a T shape, and then a Y shape, and then an I shape, and then repeat. But in phase 2, they can start progressing to doing 10 T's in a row, 10 Y's in a row, and then 10 I's in a row. And that's going to fatigue those muscles a little bit more and challenge them a little bit more, creating more stability throughout those shoulders. The elite athlete bands are the loop style band for a reason. That makes them much more versatile and allows you to train every muscle group in the body. Because it's a loop, it can easily go in your hand, it can go around your foot, it can attach to other secure objects. Instead of just having a clip where then you're very limited on the different types of exercises you can do. You can even double them up and shorten that distance for different types of exercises. So they work great for the shoulder stability stuff, but then they can also be great for a lot of other exercises too. They're also set to a resistance level that allows for optimal progression. Other brands out there that I've seen and tested, they jump way too much from a certain resistance level to the next. It's kind of like having a 10-pound dumbbell going to a 20-pound dumbbell. Where with the elite athlete bands, it's like having the 10, the 12.5, the 15, the 17.5, the 20. And combining that variable resistance as you stretch it with the different thickness of bands allows athletes to easily progress from one band to the next throughout the different exercises. The elite athlete kits come with everything they need to do a full body workout. And by purchasing it as a kit, it makes it very cost effective and allows them to train all the muscles in their body, allowing them to progress to that elite level. So get your Elite Athlete Power Band kit today and receive 10% off plus an additional padded ankle and wrist strap using the promo code STABILITY10 at checkout in the link below. Make sure to check out the website below and contact them to see what they're able to offer your team as far as discounts and sponsorships, because training a large group of athletes can get very expensive, and so Elite Athlete will work with teams to make it more affordable and allow them to provide better training and get better results. As always, if you learned something new in the video or there's things in here that you like, make sure to click subscribe and like so I can keep making these videos and getting them out to you. Additionally, if you know anyone that you think would benefit from learning this, make sure to share it with them. Right? Fitness and injury preventative exercises are key for every sport out there and are something that not enough people are aware of and not enough people do. So let's make sure we stay healthy so that we can stay strong and be elite.